when you don't have a legal market for something, it's much easier to adulterate it with toxins, with poisons, things like that. People died from bootleg hooch all the time because there was no quality control, because there was no, it was all underground. You couldn't go to complain to somebody, oh, the alcohol I bought was no good, because you're not allowed to buy alcohol. And it's the same thing with marijuana. I've been told by people from, an older generation that when they used to smoke alcohol in like the 70s or 60s, or smoke cannabis, sorry, smoke cannabis in the 60s and 70s. I'm getting my prohibitions mixed up. It was really weak, and it was like you got a little bit of a buzz off of it, but it wasn't a big deal. Now it's become super strong, and it really like messes you up, and you got to be careful with it. And the reason for that is that when you're smuggling something that's illegal, you want it to be as potent as possible, so that you can have a smaller quantity of it to actually have to get through customs, to get through airports, to get through checkpoints on the road. And so that's why we have all these super strong illegal drugs that would otherwise probably not be very strong. I mean, you can get very high proof alcohol. You can get 12% beers, and you can get 80 proof or 80%, like Everclear, things like that. But people don't generally want those unless they're crazy college kids and stuff. Most people just want, a nice relaxing drink that you can have that's not that strong. It's not going to completely destroy your evening or your morning after. And I think it's the same way with other types of drugs. A legalized cannabis system would be, there would be a little bit of a market for like really, really strong stuff, but most people just want a little easy-going buzz after work that's not going to ruin their entire evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was an interesting point you said about how they reduce it. When there's a black market, there's a cost to smuggling it, or a risk. So to justify the smuggle, you have to make a certain amount of money. So you are trying to make it more potent, so you can get more across, and it's kind of a volume ratio.
It's a volume thing, right? Yeah. Because the less potent it is, the more volume of material you have to smuggle across, and it's harder the bigger it gets.
Yeah, I remember. I recently for grad school I wrote a paper on the Civil War and the Confederate blockade, and how the Confederacy was plagued by all the luxury items coming through the blockade, because you could make a lot more money selling silk and liquor, and you could get more of it onto your ship than a box full of rifles and gunpowder and the necessities. Are like, well, I'm already taking a risk, so how do I maximize my profits?
Absolutely.
So it's the same principle whenever there's some kind of a blockade, whether that's a bad law or high taxes or literally a bunch of ships keeping you from trying to cross.
Right. And it's sort of, it ties into the free trade argument as well, is if you reduce smuggling, you're going to have better products, you're going to have better quality control. Things could go across above board, legal, and we can get the products that we want without having to worry about safety, without having to worry about it being dangerous. And, it just makes everybody's life better. When everyone knows what's going on, you can see, I know what I'm getting, I know what I'm buying. I don't have to be afraid of being arrested for it. It's much better.